live in Henderson County, North Carolina, but I own property here, my primary residence, and then my secondary residence, a vacation home, is in Buncombe County, located up Highway 9 between Bat Cave and Black Mountain.
Okay. And Bat Cave, Black Mountain was obviously one of the worst hit areas by this storm.
Yeah, we live pretty close to Guerin Creek.
Okay. And well, obviously, if you're along a waterway, that was where
we lived right on the Broad River.
Right.
Our house was right on the Broad River.
So you've had an interesting experience with FEMA.
Well,
let's start with that.
It's been difficult figuring out how to apply. First of all, right immediately after the disaster, I went down to Pisgah Legal Services because they were offering to help people get registered with FEMA and apply. And my first obstacle was login.gov. I already had a Social Security account on login.gov, and they made me delete that account and recreate a new account so that I could apply for FEMA. When I did that, it erased my Social Security account completely. So now when I go into login.gov, all it shows is my FEMA application, and my Social Security information is no longer linked.
Maybe it erased all your tax records now.
Those aren't in there, but maybe.
So, all right, so tell me what happened when you applied for assistance from FEMA.
I found that a lot of the people that were assisting were not properly informed and gave out inaccurate information. I had 3 different agents that I talked to on 3 different occasions, and I knew going into it that there might be a problem if it's your secondary home, but I thought, since it was a total wash, we lost our entire house. It washed down the river. It's probably hanging out in Lake Lure right now.
So that was your second home?
It was our second home. What I found out was that eventually, in the end, I found out that if it's your second home and you don't live there 6 months out of the year, you don't rent it out, that you can't get FEMA assistance. So I finally did accept that after a lot of 3-hour wait on the phone and talking to some pretty rude people. One guy told me the reason I held on to the phone for 3 hours, the second guy I talked to said that if it was your second home and you hadn't applied for your primary home, you could get some assistance. But then the third person I talked to said that wasn't true. And then they said they were going to close my case. And then I said, great, I would like to apply for my primary home because I lost some things there as well. But the secondary home was a much greater, huger loss and much more of a concern to me because it was like a $150,000 loss, whereas what I lost at my primary residence was only my grocery and stuff in my refrigerator.
Right.
And inconvenience. So when I asked if I could apply for my primary home, they said, no, you already have an open case with the secondary home. I said, well, you just said that you were going to close that. They said, we never close a case. I said, well, how can I get help because I need help? They said, you have to write to FEMA. And so I did that. But the first application I had, they had spelled my name wrong. They had the address wrong. They had my email wrong.
Did you even get your $750?
I haven't got anything yet.
Oh
Nothing.
gosh.
Really.
Wow.
So it's been kind of disappointing. I don't want to believe it because I'm a Democrat, and I don't want to believe that, you can't depend on FEMA because I know there's people getting help. And I know I probably will eventually get help, but the process has been cumbersome and just it makes you want to give up.
What has been your experience with other people maybe in a similar situation that you've heard about that applied for maybe their primary home?
Well, I don't know anybody that's applied for their primary home. We had a Hispanic couple that lived down to the bottom of the hill from us they lost their trailer that night of the storm on the morning of the 27th. The flood waters came up high enough they had to leave, and they came up to the retirement community, which is on a hill that I live, and they lived in the community for a month because they had no other place to go, and we just kind of adopted them. But then FEMA made them move into a hotel in order to get on whatever the FEMA approved stuff you have to go through, whatever you have to jump through to get FEMA assistance. But I don't know anybody with a primary home that's gotten assistance, but that's just me.
Okay. just to shift gears real quick, since you're working here at a polling place, what are you doing here?
I'm helping out with the Democrats.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
I'm a greeter.
You're a greeter.
Yeah, just
So
trying to.
what, have you done this before?
Yeah,
Okay. Like other election cycles?
other election cycles.
So what are you seeing here this time that's different from previous election cycles?
Well, I've previously volunteered in Buncombe County, and I'm kind of just discouraged to see in Henderson County the number of Latinos and young people that are voting for the Republicans.
Wow.
And I can tell that by which voter guide they accept and which one they don't accept. And
Right.
I'd say a lot of Latinos are voting for Trump, and I don't get it.
Do you think that is a backlash to the immigration system because
would
maybe
think
maybe they did it, as they would say, correctly or right?
I don't have no idea of knowing what their motives are. I try
Yeah.
not to second guess people's motives.
Right. What about the youth vote? That seems
I
to
see
be,
a lot of young people that are voting for Trump, and I don't get it.
and that I've been seeing that at the various polling locations I've been to today as well.
I think they must be influenced by their family members, and they
Yeah.
haven't formed an educated opinion yet.
No, this is a more red county. Right here, right?
Maybe so. I guess
Yeah,
it is.
as opposed to Buncombe County.
Yeah.
Because I was at a polling place in the center of Asheville this morning, and the Democratic greeters there told me that it was going 80-20 their way.
Great.
Yeah, in Asheville. But out here, what would you say the ratio is?
I'd say it's the reverse of that.
It's the
I'd say
reverse?
70-30 for
Wow.
the Republicans.
Right.
Maybe 60-40, but it's not. It's very. You can just tell it's Republican.
But do you see a much higher voter turnout here?
I don't know. I haven't been over to Buncombe County.
Oh, I meant here. No, here. Do you see it? You think it's
I've
higher?
only been at this.
Oh, you've only been here.
They don't have any others yet.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the only early voting site that I. Well, they did. They opened some in Etowah and some other
Fletcher?
Fletcher Town Hall.
Right.
But I haven't been to those.
Yeah. They were.
But they just did that in the last week.
Yeah. But
I think there's a lot of confusion
is there?
this election cycle. Yeah.
But it seems like, and what I'm hearing from everybody is that North Carolina in general is having record early voting
Great.
turnout.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope that's true.
Yeah.
I know that there's been a lot of confusion around the absentee ballot stuff. Like for instance, they told some people, originally they announced that you could come over to Fletcher Library and pick up an absentee ballot. Then at the last minute they said, oh, well, we're just going to give you a form to send in to get an absentee ballot. And it probably won't get processed until after the election. So that makes people feel like, why vote, you know?
Right. Well, thank you